This is a typical day of what I may eat. So first thing about 8 o'clock in the morning, I will have a coffee with some frothed milk. I wish I liked coffee without milk, but I just don't. Then I wait a little while and I'll have breakfast. This is a pretty standard one for me. A slice of sort of grain seed bread with, I'll scramble up one egg, a quarter of a cup of egg whites, and have a little bit of avocado and tomatoes on the bread. So that's a pretty standard breakfast for me these days. And yeah, I usually try and have that a little bit later in the morning just to try and extend the day out a bit. And you'll see in these videos I pretty much weigh everything, or all the really high value or the high calorie foods anyway. I'm not weighing out tomatoes and carrots and things like that, but anything that like avocado or peanut butter that has relatively high calories for the weight, I do weigh them out. So yeah, then the next meal I'll have, I guess, which I'm calling meal 2, which is really lunch. I generally have around the middle of the day, so around 12 noon. Pretty much have a salad every day, and then I eat the salad first, and then I'll have some carbs and protein after that. So today was rice and a sort of ground beef bolognese sauce that I made. Then in the afternoon, I need to have something substantial because I can be a tricky time for me where I get hungry and I want to sort of overeat if I'm a bit bored especially. So I've been making up an oatmeal and berry and sort of peanut butter mix late in the afternoon. Now maybe some people find this weird to have a sort of a breakfast food later in the afternoon, but I find particularly if I add the peanut butter, it fills me up and gets me through to dinner and the nighttime. And yeah, I usually have that sort of, I guess, between 3 and 4. So for dinner, these are some pita bread wraps that I made. These are some high fiber wraps that I just add some spinach, and in this case I'm adding some pork fillet that we'd cooked in the slow cooker. Added a tiny little bit of sauce, which I didn't count because I really didn't use a lot, 30 grams of cheese, and then some carrot and corn on the top of it. So this was, I've had this a couple of times in the last few weeks. It's quite filling, so that's been a good dinner for me. So yeah, I usually have that. Well, that varies, sometimes 6, sometimes a touch later, but yeah, around 6 o'clock is probably when I eat my main meal. And then I have one more meal of the day, which I'll have later on. Sometimes it's 8:30, sometimes it's 9. It just depends on how hungry I am and how long I can wait before I eat that meal. But that last meal of the day has been a yogurt bowl. So I use full-fat Greek yogurt, add some berries and a little bit of sort of granola for a bit of crunch and sweetness. And that gives me to the 1777 calories, and I hit protein goal. So this day was 162 grams of carbs, a bit under target, but not a worry. 73 grams of fat, which is a bit over the target, and 134 grams of protein, which is pretty much right on, all for a total of just under 1800. If I hit the total calories and I hit the protein, the carbs and fat can pretty much fall wherever they like, and I would call that a successful day.